Hello and welcome to this small introduction to my aerobatic analyzer tool. It's a piece of software I've been writing on for some while now, and I think now I'm ready to show you some of the basic features. In another YouTube video I showed you the actual hardware which is measuring the data I'm using and also recording the video above. The whole idea is that I can show some data to a certain video frame. The main screen you see here is divided into two separate views actually. It's a video view up here and the graph view with the data down here. To the left side over here we have some data information from the current cursor position. This is the cursor down here. And to the right side you have the ARISTI sequence that I have been flying. The graph view down here shows a green curve, which is the speed I'm flying. The blue curve is the acceleration, and the white curve is my height. Okay, let me start the video now so you can see how that looks. Now you will see the cursor run in the graph view and you can see the current speed. If we look at the status windows up here, you can see the time for the flight. You can see a counter counting down to the sequence end. You will see the current speed, the current acceleration, and the current height. We have a view here with delta values. This view is used when you are analyzing the sequence and need to know what is the difference between a start mark and an end mark, and it will be something like that. The shaded area is just a color I picked because it's noticeable, but you can change that. Okay, that was a very small introduction to the main screen and the information in that. I will now move on to the log files. If I move the cursor here, this view will appear. It's simply a tree view over the flights imported in the software. I have the season from 2010, and what I showed down here was actually what we are seeing in the main screen. I just picked that so the main screen was interesting when I started this video. This is what I've been flying in 2011, and now I will show you how to actually import a new flight. And with a new flight I mean I want now to import the data that my hardware has obtained from last time I was flying. To do that I simply go to the files and press import. Now it asks me for an FDR file, which is the data file from the logger. On my desktop I have a field down here, not a field, a folder, from the 1st of May when I flew this flight. I'll just double click on that. After that it asks me for the video files that belongs to this file, and I also have them here. I don't want to show you how I actually get that out of the hardware. It's easy, but it's not interesting right now. I'll just mark them all and press open. And now the software automatically calculates which video clip that belongs to which log in the FDR file. In here it now looks like this. I got the new 1st of May entry in my tree view, and I can see I had 3 flights. And if I press one of them, I'll just pause it. It will look like this, and of course with an empty ARISTI sequence over here, because I haven't told the software which ARISTI sequence I was flying here. Now I will show you how to attach an ARISTI sequence to this flight. I do that by opening the tree of logs again, and automatically the one I see in the main screen, the flight I see in the main screen, will be selected here. If I right click on that one, I can press this menu point, attach sequence. I'm using the OLN notation for my sequences. When I press it, I get this dialog. It is a list or dialog which includes a list over the sequences I entered in the system. Down here you can see the advanced known for 2011. I can create new ones by pressing this button. I can delete them, and I can show or edit them by pressing this button. I'm about to attach this sequence to my flight, so I do that just by marking the sequence and pressing close. Now when I load the flight again, I will see my attached ARISTI sequence in the view in the right side over here. Now we come to some of the more interesting features of this software. The whole idea of writing the software is to create a database of well-flown figures. I want to be able to, at a later point in time, to search in my database for certain figures which I think was flown well, and see what was my entry speed, how many Gs did I pull, and what was my height loss for this particular figure. To be able to have such a database, I will need to analyze each flight and pick out the figures I think was flown well. So right now I will, with the arrow keys on the PC keyboard, I will simply jump forth in time and start the flight. And I can see right here I'm starting the spin. I'll just play through it. A spin can be difficult to see if it was well flown on a video, so it's not a good example, but I'll use it anyway. This is the end of the figure. Now I can just mark this figure like this. Here is the beginning of the figure. So the shaded area here is what is flown in the spin, and now what I do now is I simply press the spin up here, and then I press Alt S, which brings up this dialog. Now it shows me that the shaded area is a spin, and it automatically picks the sequence I was flying, the Advanced 2011. Right here I pick the glider I was flying. This is okay, and this is the LN notation for the spin. Up here is the rating, and that's the most important thing. I have a possibility to rate the figure in for later when I search for figures. And right now I could just say, well, I think this was flown for like 3 out of 5 stars, and I pick that, and I press OK. The shaded area then removes itself, and I get a red arrow showing me where the figure starts. I'll just jump right to here, because I know this is where the next figure starts. The next figure is a hammerhead, and I can simply mark this also. A hammerhead is a little bit better to judge from the video, and I think that was pretty okay. Vertical here, that's okay. Now that doesn't look so good. So I don't think it's a well flown hammerhead, but it will do for this demonstration. Okay, I think that is the end for the hammerhead, and I press Alt S again. The hammer has picked, and I'll just rate it 2 out of 5 stars. Normally I wouldn't rate this figure because I don't think it's worth looking back at, but seeing the video I mean. But for the demonstration again, it's okay. I press OK, and now I have 2 arrows marking the entrance of the figure. One of the benefits of indexing the figures like this is that I can now double click on a figure up here, and the software will automatically display the part of the graph where the spin is flown. I can press play, and you will see that now I will continuously play the spin. If I want to zoom in on this part of the graph, I can just press set on the PC keyboard, and I will see only that part of the graph. I can do the same with the hammerhead, the other indexed figure I have, and now it will play the hammerhead over and over again. I can press escape, and I'm back to playing the whole sequence. I think that's pretty neat. when you have logs where you indexed most of the figures. Let me pull up one of the logs from last year where I indexed a bit more figures. I'll do that by pressing L and just navigate my tree view here. And yeah, I already unfolded the one I want to show you, so I'll just pick it, press enter, and pause. Well, the program is a little bit bigger than the other one, so in order not to have them overlapping, I think I just scale it down a bit like that. Okay, now we can see all the figures. So again, all the red arrows here showing the indexed figures, and if I want to see how a tail slide is performed, I simply double click on the tail slide, and I is exactly at the point in the video where the tail slide is being performed. I think that's pretty valuable. Now I'd like to show you some of the real benefits of the program, of the software. I want to show the search functionality, where I am able to search for a certain figure with a certain rating. Imagine you are searching information on a hammerhead. I would do that by going up here and clicking search subsequences. That brings up this dialog, which is my search dialog. I can drop this down and I can point it to a figure, and I can say the figure should be equal to, and I'll just write an H because that's the Orland notation for a hammerhead. If I just press return or press search down here, I'll get all the indexed hammerheads in my current database. Well, that's not many, but there are some for this demonstration. I could add one more criteria, search criteria, and say I want a rating that is higher than 3, for instance, and then I will end up with this single figure. Just for the demonstration, I'll say higher than 1, which will bring up all the indexed hammerheads. That's okay. I can now press OK here. Now, if I go into this dialog again, down here is the search results, and you can see a tree view with all the search results, the date and the time. And I can simply pick one, and it will start playing that hammerhead. On the top here you can see when it was flown and at what point in time. I can go back here and select another one, and that will play continuously. So in normal operation, what I would do was I would search for a figure that had the rating I was interested in. Right now I just got all my hammerheads, so I'll just do this again and say rating above 3. Press OK. So when I go in here, I'll just have the ones with the rating that is interesting. Now I found a hammerhead I like. So what can I actually use this information for? Well, one thing is if you look down at the graph down here, I can go back to the top point and I can see what was my initial speed when I started the figure. It was 215 k's an hour, and I can just select the acceleration curve or the G curve right here, and then I can jump to the highest point in curve, and I can see I actually pulled 5 G's in my initial pull up. Maybe that's a bit much, but again, the video tells me that I like the figure, and therefore maybe I should strive to hit these values next time I'm flying a hammerhead. I think that is very valuable information. let me go back to the full sequence from last year I have been showing you a few times. I'd like to show you another functionality of the software, the bookmarking, which I think is rather nice. I'm now jumping to the, I think I'm to the tail slide here. Now I want to just check if my vertical line is actually vertical. So I want to see on the video when I establish the vertical line, and I think that must be around here. I can place a bookmark by pressing Control F9, and then I just continue down the curve until my speed is at the lowest point. Let me put one around here. I think that's okay. And now I can toggle between the start of the vertical line and the end of the vertical line, and it makes it pretty easy to see that this slide is absolutely not perfect because the tail up here changed position. I'm pressing F9 to jump between the bookmarks. I could add a bookmark at some other point on the curve and then jump between these three, but I think this is an okay feature. I can move them all at once by clicking Control Shift and F9. Most of the functionality in my software can be achieved with the mouse, but I like to use keyboard shortcuts. It's faster to navigate, but there is a lot of shortcuts in the software, and I tend to forget them once in a while. So I implemented a search dialog like this, where I can search for different shortcuts. If I want to see what shortcuts I have with the zoom, I just right zoom there and press return, and I'll see I can press set to zoom in on the axis, and so forth and so on. The software can be customized to different likings. If you want, you can move this one so you can have a bigger graph and a smaller video window. You can move the video. You can move the video around if you want to have more room for your ARISTI sequence. The status windows up here, you can drag and move around as you like to. Also, it is possible to show only the video and remove those by clicking. You can show only the graph if that is interesting, or you can have this view back if you want that. I'll just rearrange it so it looks okay. This is the best I could get it to look like with the resolution needed for the video. I also have a settings dialog where you can choose the colors of the curves and the shaded areas and the locations of the files and stuff like that. Okay, thank you for watching this long video. If there's questions, don't hesitate to ask me either in the comments on the YouTube or send me an email. I can delve into more functionalities if needed, but I think this is sufficient.